Bilal radiallahu anhu, he was the slave of Umayyah ibn Khalaf. And I know everybody's heard the story of Bilal radiallahu anhu, but really pay attention to it. Now, when you are a free man, and when you have your own means of income, and when you have your own abilities, like to roam around, it is easier to propagate the truth, right? Like, alhamdulillah, for me, if I say whatever I want, alhamdulillah, I can say it. I don't eat from your house. I don't take a salary from OMF or the masjid or anybody. I don't borrow money from you guys. I don't owe you anything. So I'll say whatever I want. You don't like it? Walk out, no problem. Right? But if you're a slave, your own, you don't even have your own rights, it's very difficult. So it would be prudent that as a slave, Bilal radiallahu should have hidden his Islam. He didn't even own him today. May Allah protect us and forgive us as Muslims. As Muslims who are free, who have every ability to practice our religion openly, we hide our Islam. I had a guy I used to work with, I'm not going to mention his name, and he would see me at work. I didn't know he was Muslim. I didn't think he was Muslim because of the way he dressed and talked and acted and things like this. One day I saw him in the masjid. Not this masjid, another masjid, further north. So I saw him and he was like, Salaam alaikum agha. I was like, oh, alaikum salam. And you're Muslim, mashallah. I don't even know, right? And he was like, brother, this and the hands and the thing. Mashallah, didn't know. That was on a weekend. And Monday I saw him at work. I said, hey, Todd. Oh. Salaam alaikum. Shh. What are you doing? I'm just saying salam to you, bro. What happened? But, shh. Not here. Had a dress code. You're supposed to wear slacks, and this guy would wear like little shorts, hairy legs. Doesn't work. So here you have the ability to be Muslim. If you're Muslim, you go out and you say you're Muslim. Nobody's gonna kill you. Nobody owns you. Nobody's gonna harm you. And if they do, so what? Right? But still, the Muslims in America today were ashamed. We're gonna change our names. We're gonna change our identity. We're not Irani. We're Persian. We're not. All these little tricks. Right? Why? Look at, if you don't learn to sacrifice and bear hardship for the sake of Allah, you will never value the religion. You will value that which you sacrifice for. Bilal radiallahu, he could have hidden his Islam. He had the haqq, he had the right. Many Muslims were hiding their Islam, but he was open about Islam. That was the iman of Bilal radiallahu anhu. Bilal ibn Rabah, we don't even know his grandfather's name. We don't know his tribe. We don't know his qab. We know he was a slave. He was of African descent. He was enslaved before Islam. But when he heard the call towards Tawheed, he accepted it openly. Umayyah ibn Khalaf is from the leaders of Quraysh. He is from the Ashraf, from the most respected of the Quraysh of the time. He is from the leadership. He is from those. But who is successful? Look at that. Bilal radiallahu anhu declares his Islam. Abu Jahl, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, Abu Lahab and others, they take him out to the desert. Understand this. Because you don't understand this. When I say it, you're not going to understand this. What desert are we? We're not talking about Arizona. We're not talking about east of San Bernardino, right? Or north, India, whatever, right? We're talking about Mecca. If you go to Mecca in the summer, in the hot time, I'll tell you something that happened to me. I was in Mecca, and it was not like it was getting to be hot. Like it was getting to be summer, maybe around June, And when you go to the haram and you come in and out, sometimes your shoes get lost. Not that they're stolen or something, sometimes they just get lost. Too many shoes. So me and some brothers were there, and our shoes were lost. So they found some slippers, they put them on. I told them you can't. And even the lost things in Mecca, you cannot just pick up. It's one of the khasa'is of Mecca. And this is somebody else's slippers. Somebody took yours, doesn't mean you can take somebody else's. That's not the way Sharia works. So, alhamdulillah, I found my slippers. They did not find theirs. One brother, he did, in the end, ended up not having his slippers. So we walked out of the haram, and there is a very nice marble. But it was hot, like your feet were burning. But when we got past that marble, where it was the regular street, now I had my slippers, this brother started shouting, ah, ah. I was like, man, you're soft. I gave him my slippers, so put them on, go ahead. So he put on my slippers, and we're walking. Wallahi, man, I felt like my feet were on fire. We ran to the nearest store. When I looked, I had like my bottom of my foot was red. Now this is not even the hot time of Mecca. And this is just from, just where the marble ends to where the stores are. Imagine the hot summers of Mecca when the rock and sand is burning hot. Here they would take Bilal radiallahu anhu out at that time, and they would put his back on the sand, on the rock. Imagine. It would literally burn him. And they would put a rock on his stomach. It wasn't just that. I was reading the riwayat, like Ibn Sa'ad and Al-Tabrani and Al-Tabari and others have mentioned. This one, like I told you, the base is Sahih narration. Others, there are Mursal narrations, but we use them as supporting evidences here. Because we know the narration is authentic. Here, in some of those weaker narrations, they mention that people would sit on him. The Quraysh, they would take turns, they would sit on his stomach, he would be tied on that hot burning sand and rock, and they would sit on him, and he would say, Ahadun Ahad, Ahadun Ahad. They would say, worship Allah, he would say, Ahadun Ahad. They would say, worship Al-Uzza, he would say, Ahadun Ahad. Later, as Ibn Kathir and others have mentioned, the Sahaba would ask him, Ya Bilal, why is that the only thing you said to them? Why didn't you say something else to him? He said, and there's two narrations. One of them he said, that's the only thing I knew. I just knew Allah is one. And this is the early time. They don't know ahkam of salah and wudu and siyam and hijab and all this at the time. So he said, I knew this, so that's what I said. In another narration, he said, I did not see anything that upset them more than this. I wanted to burn their hearts. I wanted them to feel it. They were punishing me physically. They thought they were going to break me. I wanted them to know. That is rujula. That is manlyhood. That is, as we would say here, that's gangster. He was telling us, he said, I didn't see anything else that would be harsher on them, so I would say it again. Imagine, if one of us, may Allah protect us, one of us gets locked up and they tie you up and they're just slapping you around a little bit, man, you think you're a gangster all that right now? Man, you'll be like, I'm sorry, forget it. Never mind. But Bilal radiallahu anhu, this was his iman. They would put, as the riwayah Tabrani mentioned, they would put a rope in his neck and drag him. And he would fall, and they would drag him, he would be crawling. Sometimes he would be tied, and he would be crawling, and they would be dragging him by the neck. And they would say, just worship an idol, that's it. He would say, Ahadun Ahad. Bilal radiallahu anhu was so strong in his iman